another Wednesday night when we touch every region for stories and backstories. Tonight, a presidential marching order against outlaws motivates law enforcement agents in the face-off with criminals across the country. There is a window of hope for widows as the world focuses on their experiences, skills and commitment as useful attributes to the Nigerian youth. The NYSC has a model. Trans-border smuggling bleeding the Nigerian petroleum industry, there is a courageous effort underway to plug the loopholes. We also have some stories doing justice to the justice delivery system. So join us as we set sail. You know, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Buba, and this is News Extra. I welcome you all. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the military and other security agencies to do whatever it takes towards ensuring that all Nigerians whose liberty and freedom have been taken away by criminal elements be restored. The president gave the directive Tuesday evening after receiving a formal briefing from Governor Atiku on the security situation in Kebbi State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the governor of Zamfara State, Bello Muhammad Matawali, also came calling.
Governor Atiku Bagudu brought the president up to speed on the recent abduction of a number of students as well as teaching and non-teaching staff of the federal government college Birnin Yauri by bandits. He said the military and other security agencies, including the vigilante, have been fully mobilized and are doing a great job in the search and rescue mission.
Mr. President expressed sympathy to those innocent persons who are held hostage against their will by terror element, and he condemned the action of all terror groups wherever they are, whether they are bandits, Boko Haram, or any group that is taking away the liberty and freedoms and in fact lives and livelihoods of others. And he maintained the instruction he has always given to the security agencies to give their maximum best in dealing with those criminal elements.
Cases of abduction by criminal elements have been recurring in the northwestern sub-region, but Kebbi, the land of equity, was virtually insulated until now, and the governor, Atiku Bagudu, is worried.
This is condemnable. This should not happen. And all good people should mobilize to confront evil elements and criminal elements in our society. It's not just a job for the security agencies. We have to support them. Since I made that statement, which I meant by every stretch of imagination, many groups have come out to demonstrate similar support. We have seen mobilization by the Niger State governor, and I believe we'll see more in the coming days. Nigerians should unite so that we confront criminality.
Although a number of lives have been lost as a result, many of the kidnapped victims were, however, rescued. President Muhammadu Buhari also granted audience to Governor Bello Muhammad Matawali of Zamfara State, where similar issues of security dominated discussions. The governor had told the president that with the rejigging of Nigeria's security architecture, the situation in his state has improved significantly.
Alhamdulillah, for the first 4 days, no incidents were recorded by the security. We are doing our best, and the security are doing their best to make sure that they tackle all the challenges. We are on top of the matter, and the president has assured all of us that he is going to take more measures to make sure that farmers will go back to their farms and they are going to farm, inshallah.
This Governor Bello Muhammad Matawali said is reassuring, most especially to the people of Zamfara State, where farming is their pride. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the conduct of the second peer review process of the African Peer Review Mechanism. It is a self-assessment exercise on the country aimed at ascertaining the progress made in governance and socio-economic development. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, announced this while briefing journalists after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again reports.
The second peer review self-assessment exercise of the country to be conducted by Abuja Nepat APRM Nigeria has amongst other objectives of reinvigorating, rationalizing and institutionalizing the African peer review mechanism in governance reforms. This is aimed at appraising to what extent the national program of action is implemented, as well as making the review process more relevant to citizens' needs, more cost-effective and in tune with Agenda 2063 priorities and goals.
The President has granted the approval that that peer review report can be conducted on Nigeria.
The process is coming almost 11 years after the first peer review was conducted in 2008. As contained in the report, the second peer review will help the government to further analyze the gaps and provide solutions to some of the socio-economic challenges confronting Nigeria.
Nigeria has made progress in several areas and on several fronts. While 10 years ago, petroleum contributed more than 70%, even up to 90% to our GDP. You will find that today petroleum contributes just about 45%, and non-oil products contribute about 55% to the Nigerian economy. So if Nigeria had been talking of diversification for 40, 50, 60 years, the economy can now be said to be diversified.
4 thematic areas are expected to be covered in the nation's self-assessment report process, including democracy and political governance, economic governance and management, corporate governance, and socio-economic development. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, 12 states in Nigeria have been identified as pilot states for the National Liquefied Petroleum Gas Expansion Plan sensitization, with emphasis in rural communities. At the flag off in Abuja, overcoming the challenge of affordability was paramount for industry players. Kelvin Ihunwaye was there.
The National Liquefied Petroleum Gas Expansion Plan, as contained in the Nigerian Economic Sustainability Plan, seeks to move the current 5% domestic gas usage in the country to 90% in the next 10 years. To address the challenge of affordability for ordinary Nigerians, deliberate policies of duty waivers on LPG equipment, exemption from value-added tax, among others, are currently being implemented by the government to boost investment in the sector.
We're working to see that more volumes of LPG comes into the market. We can domesticate that. LNG is just one aspect. MPDC is another one.
I would really like to commend this administration led by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for steering the country's oil and gas industry towards further development of the gas sector.
The nationwide sensitization campaign is expected to also encompass issues of safety and environmental impact, which may be associated with increase in domestic gas usage in communities.
The use of LPG as a household and domestic energy source also offers higher calorific values and cleaner air, with attendant reduction in air pollution and diseases from air pollutants.
The program is being coordinated by the Office of the Vice President of Nigeria. In Abuja, Kelvin Ihunwaye, NTA News.
In a renewed offensive to curtail trans-border smuggling of petroleum products and reduce the huge cost of subsidy incurred by the federal government, a meeting of critical stakeholders have committed to changing the narrative and making the oil and gas industry in Nigeria better. This is in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's directive to the NNPC to nip trans-border petroleum product smuggling in the bud. Lydia Sampson has that.
Nigeria's daily petroleum consumption has continued to fluctuate between 60 million barrels per day. In May, it rose to an outrageous over 100 million barrels. Key players at this meeting are unanimous that the nation is bleeding from the huge amount spent daily to subsidize products, ironically, not consumed in Nigeria.
Our consumption of petroleum products daily consumption has become unrealistic, it's unsustainable. And yet a lot of this product is fraudulently diverted and sent out of, smuggled out of Nigeria. We cannot continue to subsidize the whole of Africa and the rest of West Africa, the rest, even part of Central Africa.
Already we have seen significant progress from the height of 102 million liters per month. We are now looking at less than 50 million liters in terms of daily consumption. But we believe that Nigeria, should not be consuming, more than 40 million in a day.
Mr. President was very clear that the Honorable Minister and myself and other stakeholders must control this, including the security agencies. So there is no way we can explain this cross-border smuggling. And I believe that this approach will work, and that with the support of all the security agents, particularly the Environmental State Service and the EFCC, will put this under control.
We introduce automation to track products from loading point to receiving point and up to the last mile to ensure that we pay only genuine transactions.
The meeting got the commitment of Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, DSS, and Customs Service, as well as Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association, DAPMAN, Major Marketers Association of Nigeria, MOMAN, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association, PTD, and the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association. They all agree it is time to stop working in silos and work together for greater success in dealing with the deadly economic crime of product smuggling. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Let's head to Lagos now, where the Nigerian Navy will continue to forge necessary synergy with its foreign counterparts towards promoting safe maritime activities along the Gulf of Guinea. Flag Officer Commanding West Naval Command, Rear Admiral Jason Bassa, said this when he received a French naval warship, Commandant Bon, during a passage exercise in Apapa, Lagos. Adini Taiwo completes the report.
As a maritime route for oil and gas shipping, the Gulf of Guinea, covering about 13 countries in Africa, is a major sea corridor enjoying the protection of many coastal nations. Lagos, home to the Nigerian Navy Western Command, has been receiving foreign naval patrol vessels or seeking collaboration to better secure the 6,000-kilometer-long corridor. The arrival of Commandant Bon, an 80-meter French naval warship in Lagos, is for the same purpose and a lot more, as France looks forward to improving on its military and economic bilateral relationship with Nigeria after a lull imposed by COVID-19.
But they are working together under the architecture of Yaoundé. It's been a process since 2013, and France is a very big part of it, helping all the countries to increase their ability to work together and to share information.
We are starting on hydrographic issues. We are starting a cooperation, but we have to just sit around a table and to discuss together.
Chief Staff Officer Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Hakilu Zakaria, who received the ship and its crew on behalf of the Flag Officer Commanding, noted that the Nigerian Navy is exploring more rewarding collaboration with France in order to achieve their collective mandate in the Gulf of Guinea.
The Nigerian Navy has the capability to patrol this Gulf of Guinea, but then having collaboration with France, whose interest is within the Gulf of Guinea, is a welcome development and is something that the Navy is willing and able to partner with them.
The Nigerian Navy recently acquired its first hydrographic survey ship, NNS Lano, from France. In Lagos, Adini Taiwo, NTA News.
To a bit on judiciary matters now, the whole of Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 states the various objectives of governance. This is known as the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy. In this report, Dele Atumbi of our judiciary desk takes a look at the power of the court to adjudicate on matters relating to these objectives.
One of the common features in the oath of office of the President, Vice President, governors and their deputies, in their solemn pledge to preserve the fundamental objectives and directive principles of the state policy as enshrined in Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. This chapter explicitly states the political, economic, social, educational, foreign policy, environmental, cultural objectives, obligation of the media, national ethics, and the duties of the citizens to the state. In spite of the import of these objectives to the attainment of good governance, this chapter is not justiciable as Section 6, subsection 6c of the Constitution ousted the power of the courts from adjudicating over matters contained therein.
The fundamental principles and objectives, they have been couched in a manner that you cannot approach the court and found your claim on it. That briefly is what not being justiciable connotes.
If the government of the day is unable to provide or act to enforce the provisions of Chapter 2 of the Constitution, those rights, though they are called rights, an individual cannot go to court.
The judicial power to hear legal disputes as well as issues that are involving breach of rights.
The legal practitioners also shed light on the advantages of making Chapter 2 of the Constitution justiciable.
Everything that is contained in Chapter 2 can be enforced within a limited time.
The goals are there. A good government will now draw lessons from it and enact laws. That particular provisions needs to be amended. It should form a critical part of the current and ongoing constitutional amendment.
The appeals to the National Assembly in its ongoing fifth alteration of the Constitution to give premium to the justiciability of the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy as set out in Chapter 2 of the Constitution. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Employers in Nigeria, particularly those requiring the services of lawyers, will do better to pay greater attention to what Youth Service Corps lawyers can do to strengthen the nation's justice system. This is from experts and resource persons who were at the opening of the annual NYSC Legal Aid Workshop in Abuja. Femi Okeo has more on that.
The annual Corps Legal Aid Workshop is the National Youth Service Corps' way of strengthening the capacity of its legal departments across the country and empowering youth corps lawyers, particularly in the area of representing the weak and indigent before the court of law. Director General of the NYSC said this area of focus is significant enough to influence the nation's justice system positively and called on employers to show interest in the duties of their corps lawyers.
The Legal Aid Council and the Correctional Service rely so much on the service of the corps member. Without the corps member, they will find it very difficult to operate. Also because the corps members are also learning, they're also being trained, and it's a two-way traffic.
Experts were brought in to talk on the topic, examining the laws regulating practice of ICT, with particular reference to data protection regulations.
It is therefore expected that this topic will stimulate profound discourse on the various regulations guiding the processing of data in Nigeria as it applies to the scheme.
The way saying that knowledge is power is as good as information is power. And that statement has become more glaring and profound in recent times.
This is the 6th annual Legal Aid Conference of the Corps. In Abuja, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
Now, the National Chairman of the APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Maimalabuni, has appointed the Governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, as Chairman of a 7-man primary election committee for Anambra State governorship elections. The 7-member committee has Senator John Eno as its secretary and is expected to conduct the primary election in line with the provisions of APC's constitutions and guidelines for the nomination of candidates. The governorship primary election is scheduled for this Saturday. Up ahead on News Extra, Nigerian Army beams its searchlight on anti-piracy. Don't miss out on this, as correspondent tells us all about the potential and scope of the project. Plus, reasons why Borno now readily comes to mind as the mention of states with thriving education sector. Join us again.
Located around the Shehu's Palace in Maiduguri, Dr. Babagana Wakil Memorial School was inherited from the Kashim Shettima administration with major infrastructure. The Zulum administration completed and remodeled existing structures and built new ones from scratch. The higher Islamic school is now equipped with 60 air-conditioned classrooms, 4 laboratories, administrative building, a spacious auditorium and sporting facilities. This school was one of those commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari to the glory of God for educational growth for a productive population and Borno's promising future.
The brightest stars, they burn with more passion. See that? Shooting star. Impressive, but no legs. Now that star is called Sirius. When I was a kid, I was inspired by that star. Like Sirius, I wanted to shine brighter. I wanted to stand out. That's a champion star, right? And it warms my heart to know that right now, that same star shines over a new generation of Nigerians. Passionate about their dreams. Shine, my people, shine. Speaking of champions, the word serious is Greek. It means to glow. Coincidence? No way. Glow? A halo.
I dey look for pension fund administrator. Way soft, make sense, we care for me. Shine. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no, 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 no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. You no go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment. Everything is just a blend. If you know what's good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
I am with you at every stage of your life, providing comfort when you are keeping fit. Comfort when you are expecting your bundle of joy. Comfort during motherhood. Comfort in your office. Comfort in your car. Comfort when sharing a meal. Comfort at bedtime. From cradle to grey, there's comfort for you with Vitafoam. Quality is vital. Quality is Vitafoam. Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
Our hands can pick up harmful germs. Safeguard soap not only removes germs, but continues to fight germs even after wash.
With Safeguard, germ regrowth is reduced for 12 hours. So, use Safeguard to safeguard your family to promote healthy habits.
Celebration,
Chapman, drink smooth.
Please keep an eye on Jane.
Oh, that's all right.
Uncle Paul, look. I want to be a pilot when I grow up.
That's good. I've always wanted to be friends with a pilot.
Uncle Paul, what's your job?
I help people understand things.
Like a teacher?
Almost. I help explain to mummies and daddies what they can do with their money. I help people build stuff. And I'm always there when they are happy and when they are sad. I help people grow all kinds of things.
You're a farmer!
Not quite. I help people keep and grow their money so later they come back when it's bigger for themselves.
You're a magician!
Just like a pilot, I help people move from where they are to where they want to be.
Thank you, Uncle Paul.
Pilot.
ARM. Invested in your tomorrow.
Pursuant to the resolutions of the Senate Committee on Federal Capital Territory hereby invites memoranda from all stakeholders and the general public to attend a public hearing on the above-mentioned bills. The hearing is scheduled as follows. Date, Thursday, 24th June 2021. Venue, Conference Hall, 022, Senate Wing, National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. All memoranda should be submitted in 30 hard copies. For further information, please call 0703-311-5777. Announcer, Senator Abubakar Kyari, Chairman, Senate Committee on FCT.
African Children Talent Discovery Foundation presents an Engineer Noah Dalaji Legacy Project 2021, a talent hunt and mentorship program by world-class international superstars, and a novelty football match between superstar friends of Dalaji against Bauchi All-Stars FC. Come and watch superstars like Nigeria's Daniel Dobul Amokachi, JJ Okocha, Nwankwo Kanu, Tijani Babangida, Joseph Yobo, Celestine Babayaro, Victor Ikpeba, Emmanuel Emenike, and Taribo West. Ghana's Stephen Appiah, Senegal's Kalilu Fadiga, and El Hadji Diouf, plus DRC's Lumana Lua Lua. Light up the beautiful city of Bauchi. Date 27 June 2021. Venue Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium, Bauchi. Time 5 p.m. prompt. Gate is free. ACTDF, discovering Africa's talents.
You're welcome back. The 2021 supplementary budget is a key step towards achieving Nigeria's renewed fight against insecurity and ensuring that its major population is vaccinated against COVID-19 by 2022. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports that this is coming from the Senate as it unanimously passed the supplementary budget for second reading.
At commencement of plenary, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan, reacting to a matter of privilege raised by Deputy Chief Whip Senator Sabi Abdullahi on media report of leaking roof of the National Assembly lobby, made further explanations to the incident.
When we approved the budget of 37 billion naira for the rehabilitation of this complex, it was not a National Assembly budget. It was an FCDA budget. We have nothing to do with this. But this place belongs to Nigerians and it deserves to be renovated.
Thereafter, the Senate considered the 2021 supplementary budget for second reading. Less than 24 hours it was received from the executive.
More than 75% of this supplementary budget is for capital expenditure. And borrowing from the bigger stock of the financing item, which is 715 billion.
722.3 billion as contribution to the Development Fund for Capital Expenditure, while 173.4 billion as recurrent non-debt expenditure. The intent of the budget, which is for strengthening of security and vaccination of 70% of eligible Nigerians by 2022, was well acknowledged by the legislators.
The defense and security of our nation and its people is the highest priority of the government. Two key issues. The topical issue of security challenge in our country, which all of us know and are concerned about.
And this supplementary budget is making provision to equip the security agencies, particularly the military.
That at least a substantial amount of this supplementary provision go to this ammunition.
That adequate provision is being made to cater
for the vaccination of Nigerians.
Federal College of Education, Goza, and Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences, Abuja establishment bills were passed. Senate received the report of its Committee on Public Accounts on queries raised by the Auditor General of the Federation between January and December 2015. Well, the report explained that about 21 MDAs refused to honor the invitation of the committee, and as a result, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, announced that very soon the Senate will begin to publish lists of defaulters. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Ngo, NTA News.
Let's talk business now. Micro, small and medium enterprises key to achieving faster recovery, says Smithon, as the African Development Bank is set to sponsor mass production of vaccines for the continent. Musa Abubakar brings us up to speed with details on business news. Musa, take it away.
Thank you, Fatima. To ensure faster recovery of Africa's economies, the African Development Bank is set to sponsor mass production of vaccines for the continent. President of the bank, Akinwumi Adesina, made this known at the opening of 56th annual meetings of the Board of Governors of the bank and the 47th annual meeting of the African Development Fund, holding virtually with their theme, Building Resilient Economies in Post-COVID-19 Africa.
Attention should be given to domestic resource mobilization, tackling corruption, building strong institutions for public expenditure and financial accountability, and debt management.
Can imports are said to be only 0.1% higher than in 2019, and exports about 2.3% higher. But import and export growth over the same 3-year period are said to be significantly stronger in Europe and North America.
We must all come together to end the pandemic and secure the recovery.
This is also an opportunity for us for a call to collective action to include things like acceleration clauses in our credit that we write.
Meeting is brainstorming on opportunities needed to restoring the region's economies and livelihoods, share solutions for addressing the COVID-19 vaccine shortage, climate change and debt. Now, 41.5 million micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, are registered in Nigeria, and experts say this is just a fraction of the real numbers, and that explains why they were the worst hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The United Nations is marking this year's MSMEs Day with the theme, MSMEs Key to Inclusive and Sustainable Recovery, pointing to the fact that no meaningful growth or economic recovery can be achieved without MSMEs. Director General of Smedon, Umaru Dikorada, is optimistic that developing and strengthening MSMEs through consumption of made-in-Nigeria goods and services will be a short way to achieving this recovery.
Our people, especially the citizens of this country, to ensure that they use Nigerian product as much as possible, and that will create a market for the Nigerian MSME. And as we are doing it in Abuja, there is going to be an event in all the states of the Federation that will also help in stimulating the development of MSMEs. And then there will also be an MSME award. This MSME award is only to encourage the MSME to do more in their field of endeavor.
And now to capital market, investors lose 22.21 billion naira as the equities market closed on red to maintain a negative posture. The all-share index shed 0.11% to close 37,804.46 basis points. The market capitalization drops to 19.7 trillion naira. 208 million shares worth 1.6 billion naira were traded in 3,365 deals. Zenith Bank e-Transact International PLC and Fidelity Bank were the most traded shares. That's business news. It's back to you, Fatima.
Well, thank you so much, Musa, for the business package. Now, do you know that apart from serving as drivers of the nation's commerce, the Nigerian business community is also playing a critical role of promoting peace and fostering uncommon bonds among people of different backgrounds? Well, in this report, Abubakar Usman Akwanga takes us on a journey of a Nigerian who has traversed the nation and has a testimony of the Nigeria we all dream of.
Henry Inamani is a proud Nigerian who hails from Enugu State, southeast Nigeria. He is into automobile spare parts business with a prolonged history of trade in northeast Nigeria.
During my sojourn in life, after my education in the east, I travel far north.
He opens his business space for daily transaction after money devotion for patronage and peaceful coexistence of the market community. He speaks many languages from the north fluently and maintains stronger ties with his allies, which secures his business interest.
As far as I'm concerned, within the period before I came down to Abuja, North has been a very good place to live.
Many traders around popular market in Abuja believe in the corporate existence of Nigeria, where anyone can trade anywhere and blossom.
If my neighbor is not around, I will sell for my neighbor. If I'm not around, my neighbor will sell for me. We love the way we are cooperating in the markets. If Nigeria can do it for other places, working place, in anywhere where we are farming these goods, this will be better.
Gariki modern markets, it carry different tribes, and we stay together, we think together, we want to develop our country together. We don't have any selfishness and we don't have any trouble. We stay well with everybody.
There's no way we will say we scatter now, that we can be in peace with another person. That is what I think about it. In marketing now, my labor is Hausa. Hausa day my front, Hausa day my front, Yoruba day back, Igbo day here. How do you scatter? How do you divide ourselves? It's not a thing that without unity, we cannot move in Nigeria.
The summary of the wake-up calls by these drivers of Nigerian macro business environment is for every citizen to know that a society plunged in mutual suspicion and distrust can never make a headway. Like Henry Inamani, the mindset of many traders is for the country to surmount the security challenges and return to the era where the safety of one is the safety of all. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
A beautiful one, I must say. Unity is your key. Jaiz Bank PLC, a Nigerian-based non-interest Islamic bank, has announced a 30 kobo per share as dividend for the year 2021. Yesterday, Abel, who was at the annual general meeting of the bank, reports that the financial institution affirms it will continue to keep both investors and customers happy in line with its mandate.
Like every other financial institution, the year 2020 was quite eventful for Jaiz Bank PLC, a Nigerian-based non-interest bank. No thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, the financial service provider is taking stock of her performance in the year 2020 and charting a new course for 2021. This they did at the 9th annual general meeting of the bank in Abuja. In the last annual year of the bank, it recorded a profit of 54% from the 107.78 billion naira it recorded in 2019 to 166 billion naira in 2020. Chairman of the bank, board of directors, audit committee members, regulators and shareholders are comfortable with the numbers. Profit before tax increased by 3 billion naira, year against 2 billion naira reported in 2019, representing an impressive growth of 45%, while deposit increased to 175 billion naira in 2020 from 127 billion naira in 2019. Total asset hit 233 billion naira in 2020 as against 167 billion naira in the year 2019, representing a growth of 40%, an achievement without its challenges.
For a bank to pay you dividend, I think we are very happy with that. We thank God for returning into profitability.
Despite all challenges in 2019, Jaiz Bank says it remains committed to providing returns and sustaining a win-win relationship with shareholders.
Definitely, we hope that things will improve in the coming years. Number of steps have been taken to improve on efficiency.
Once we grow the profitability and we continue to do this year on year,
the dividend will also be increased.
Jais Bank aims to embark on an expansion drive operation across the country and will leverage on technology to reach its targets. In Abuja, Bossede Ebo, NTA News.
The World Go Green Council has appointed Malaysia's Chesney Harun Merican as the new president and chief executive officer. The Council at the Finance for Change 2021 virtual meeting says Mrs. Merican's 25 years experience in technology, marketing and management across many corporations make her a good choice as collaborations on global green economy investment and climate change continues. The development, experts say, will positively impact on the existing collaboration between the National Agricultural Land Development Authority under the Presidency and Bionas in the implementation of the Master Plan for the Green Economy Development Project through the Agropolitan Businesses Clusters Development for Land Degradation Management in the Nigeria Great Green Wall and across Nigeria. When COVID-19 struck last year and forced the global economy to shut down, one sector that kept grinding the wheels of progress is services. Now, service providers in the oil and gas sector are to benefit from a $30 million facility by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, which will be matched in Naira terms by the Nigeria Export-Import Bank, NEXIM. Leah Katumba reports that beneficiaries have a $1 million maximum repayable drawing right.
The services sector has remained resilient amidst hard-hitting economic circumstances, accounting for 53% of the nation's GDP. Post-COVID-19, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCMDB, will from July 1, 2021 roll out a $30 million fund that will be boosted by matching funds of the same amount to be provided by Nexim Bank in Naira. The loans are for working capital support and capacity building, invoice discounting and capacity building, as well as acquisition of low-end equipment to service short-term contracts and service obligations.
The maximum processing time, as agreed with Nexim, will be 21 working days from the date the applicant has provided all required documentation.
Between us, our experience here and their experience, we should be able to come out with enough mitigants to ensure that they don't.
Maximum amount that can be borrowed by an obligor is $1 million or its Naira equivalent. Tenor is 12 months for working capital loans and up to 3 years for capacity building loans with moratorium of up to 12 months. The facility is open to Nigerian oil service providers that belong to professional associations in the Nigerian oil and gas industry and commercially viable with a business relationship with either an international oil company or major national oil company.
This is the way to continue to show empathy to the industry, because the local service industry will always grow this industry for us and put money back into the national coffers.
Putting pen to paper, both parties will share risk equally. Interest and income will also be shared each month by them after provision of 0.5% full capacity building of operators of the scheme. The applicable interest rate is 5% per annum for dollar-denominated loans and 8% for Naira-denominated loans. In Abuja, Leah Katungbaba today, NTA News.
The National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASANI, and the Defense Research and Development Bureau are to sustain the existing collaboration between the two organizations with focus on multi-sectoral technological spheres. Executive Vice Chairman of NASANI, Professor Mohammed Haruna, while playing host to the newly appointed Director General of the Defense Bureau, Air Vice Marshal Peter Uzezi, indicated that drawing on the knowledge of NASANI in a strategic collaboration is critical to the development of local capacities and capabilities of the Nigerian military. Correspondent Kirian Omayo reports.
Intervention Agency of the federal government, NASENI, has been instrumental to the development of critical infrastructure targeted at home-sustained industrialization for Nigeria, with expertise in reverse engineering, nanotechnology, fabrication of various machine types and components, production of solar panels, artificial intelligence, turbines, pole-mounted transformers, and wind turbine blades. The Defense Research and Development Bureau is seeking to acquire requisite knowledge in some of these areas to enhance the technological competence of its personnel.
To do need-oriented research, we have to work with others to see their needs. And then we'll learn from them, use their own facility, they use our own. That is the best way to move the nation forward. The reason why we continuously import, the reason why we continuously look for outside for help, for things we have capacity and competence in it, is because we are not investing.
This collaboration is very important because, as you rightly mentioned, NASENI is about research, is about production. We are also in research as well as development. The capacity and the competencies that they have already existing are things we can leverage on to get our own research effort, especially in military technology development, ongoing. And there are a lot they have already done. You could see in part of the presentation, there are aspects even on military technology that they've already done. And we must also know that research and development in military technology has spin-off, a lot of spin-off in civil use. And those are part of the areas that we, working together, can adapt some of the things they are already doing, and they can also benefit from what we are doing. They also have competencies in personnel, qualified Nigerians in the academia that we can also leverage on to guide our research processes.
An operational committee would be constituted by the two organizations to work out modalities for effective collaboration. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
The Martin Luther Agway International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center has commenced the validation of anti-piracy research projects. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who was at the Nigerian Army War College, Abuja, highlights the scope and potentials of the project.
The vast water body in Gulf of Guinea is said to have huge potentials for the African continent by enhancing fishing and transportation activities. This vital socioeconomic asset has also been used by pirates who truncate commerce on the waterway. This validation exercise, organized by the Martin Luther Agway International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center in conjunction with the government of Japan through the UNDP, is aimed at identifying the causes and effects of piracy on Gulf of Guinea and come up with intervention measures.
The Gulf of Guinea, which extends from Senegal in the west to Angola in the south, is a major critical economic nexus between the Americas, Middle East, and Asia.
The fourth phase of the program is a curriculum development for a course on piracy, which will be run in the Martin Luther Agway International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center.
What is Japan's interest in the project?
We are attaching importance on the stability, regional stability. The Gulf of Guinea is also one of them.
The research project is geared towards developing a template for anti-piracy training for military and paramilitary personnel in the region. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And in Maiduguri, the last 2 years of Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, has witnessed a lot of transformation in the education sector, with more infrastructural development put in place and key policy decisions implemented. Mohamed Goni takes a look at the education sector and the giant strides made so far in the second year of Governor Zulum-led administration.
In the last 2 years, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum administration has continued to strengthen the education sector in the state, which has suffered the more in the 11 years of insurgency that considered Western education as sacrilege. Already, The administration had built 16 mega schools in Maiduguri metropolis and Jere, as well as other local government areas, to continue enrollment of over 50,000 children opened by the Boko Haram insurgents. Governor Bagana Umara, in the second year of his stewardship, has continued to build on the steps already taken to reposition the education sector through construction and equipping of more mega schools at the primary school level, as well as technical schools, to encourage entrepreneurial skills, and recruited more teachers, especially 800 science-based, to teach at the secondary schools.
Lingering security challenges added more damage to the sector as such. We are taking drastic measures to reposition the education sector. Holistically, we are providing qualitative teaching staff and enabling the environment to function effectively. This necessitated the government to consider education as one of its topmost priority in the tech-backed agenda of this administration.
The newly established Borno State University has commenced academic activities with the pioneer students enrolled into 5 faculties of the institution, with the Senate of the university inaugurated, while a world-class college of medical science and teaching hospital are being built as part of requirement to establish faculty of medicine in the state university. Omar Ibn Ibrahim College of Education, Science and Technology, Bama, which was completely razed down by the insurgents, has been rebuilt and ready for academic activities after nearly a decade of operating in Maiduguri. Governor Zulum administration, within the period of 2 years, has set up 2 different biometric and data capture committees for primary and secondary school teachers to sanitize the 2 critical levels of education, both of which have submitted their findings. The state government has established Education Trust Fund, manned by erudite scholars, to boost the sector. The present administration in the last 2 years also sponsored enrollment of orphans and vulnerable children into both primary and secondary schools at no cost to the guardians and parents of such children, all in an effort to give them a sense of belonging. In collaboration with the local government councils, the state government initiated a return to school campaign in all resettled communities, which Governor Zulum himself plucked up in Damasak, supported by some top government officials. During the period under review, government has commenced the establishment of High Islamic College in some local government areas, which will be replicated in all council areas, while a high-powered committee was inaugurated to reform the Sangaya education in the state, which has since submitted its report, and a bill to establish Sangaya and Islamia Board is underway. The effort to reposition the age-long Quranic and Islamic education is to ensure control of the sector so that it is not hijacked to pollute the minds of the younger generation. Governor Bagana Umara has always emphasized on the need for impacting quality education, which also informed his decision to hold meetings with secondary school principals across the state, the first of its kind, where the principals bear their mind on the challenges confronting the sector and the way forward. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Thank you, Mohammed Goni. When News Extra returns from this next break that beckons, amplified voices on the need for a better deal for widows. We shall also tell you about an interesting move that would enhance the well-being of rural dwellers in the areas of health, water and sanitation. Hang in there for these and more when News Extra returns in just a moment.
Like every mother, I'm worried about dangerous insects, especially mosquitoes, which spread diseases like malaria to my loved ones. This year, I'm not afraid. I'm using new Mortein Insta-Kill. New Mortein Insta-Kill's improved formulation knocks down mosquitoes 2 times faster. Not even a single mosquito is spared because even one mosquito bite can cause malaria. Mortein Insta knocks down mosquitoes 2 times faster.
The internet at home disconnects me, but that's a thing of the past. Today, I found the great solution. With Connect, I can get internet from space. It's super fast satellite internet from Connect. It's great. I can get internet everywhere. It's super simple and super fast. It's Connect. Broadband up to 100 megabits per second. All this from 6,900 naira per month. Isn't it great? Go to connect.com.
John, you can use our toilet now.
Ew! My mommy said I should always
always use a toilet that is cleaned with Hypo toilet cleaner. James will bite my bone.
John, what's the problem? Use Hypo Toilet Cleaner. Introducing the new and affordable Hypo Toilet Cleaner. Kills germs and deodorizes your toilet.
Hypo. Since 1971, Nigeria's foremost human capital development institution, the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has been at the forefront of equipping Nigerians with skills for national growth. Today's ITF has repositioned and refocused its programs, forging new partnerships locally and internationally to effectively deliver on its mandate. With 37 area offices and 5 industrial skills training centers across the country, ITF is pushing to reduce unemployment by providing relevant technical and vocational skills for employability and entrepreneurship in diverse trades and crafts. Whether you're a public or private organization seeking to improve the skills of your personnel or an individual looking to acquire skills that will increase your chances of employment or even to help start your own business, today's ITF has a program for you. Speak to us today. Contact our area offices nationwide or visit our website www.itf.gov.ng. ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
Go big and live stream world-class football and more from SuperSport. The biggest Africa Magic and Emmy award-winning series, blockbusters and kid shows. Go big for less and get Showmax Mobile or Showmax Pro Mobile. Plus 2.5 gig MTN data included at a great price that suits you. That's 25 hours of sports, series, movies and kid shows with a 1-month Showmax subscription with 2.5 gig MTN data. Dial *131# or visit showmax.com/MTN now.
Thanks so much for staying. Despite its horrifying implications on global health and economy, the coronavirus outbreak on the flip side appears to have some pros. This is because it has forced many developing countries to brace, especially in the areas of governance and service delivery. As the world celebrates this year's Public Service Day, the Nigerian government is leveraging on technology for a better public service in the country. Adebola Brixlin Sunday takes a look at new government models to reach the sustainable development goals using public servants as tools.
The outbreak of coronavirus disease almost shut down the entire globe, forcing many countries to lock down, disrupting service delivery to the people. The COVID-19 pandemic obviously became a force multiplier in this digital revolution era, introducing remote work in government, virtual service team, digital service delivery, and even new portfolios. In Nigeria, the federal government directed civil servants below level 12 to work from home as one of the measures to contain the spread of the virus.
The virtual meetings.
Rita Emiri is one of those affected by the directive.
We really need to work on our necessities like power supply. I practically channeled my transport fare to my data for me to be able to deliver. I did appreciate the fact that we're moving from carrying a file to digital.
To emphasize the importance of public service in the advancement phase, Bureau of Public Service Reforms, in collaboration with the Federal Capital Territory Administration, is celebrating the work of public servants towards encouraging them to build a better society.
Despite the lockdown, they were able to keep government moving.
So population explosion is a very serious challenge to the effectiveness of public service of today. Inadequate funding.
Key players said Nigerian government has put in place modalities that inspires young people to take up careers in the public sector.
The federal government's e-government master plan currently being implemented is an innovation
and technology pooled to deliver service.
If you have a motivated workforce, you expect the best from them, and society will be better for that particular reason.
The United Nations General Assembly declared June 23 as Public Service Day in December 2002. It was updated in 2016 to be in tune with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
The demise of a spouse can be devastating, especially for women, because this usually comes with untold hardship. Ngozi Sylvia Technico in this special report takes a look at the pains of widowhood as the world marks the 2021 International Widows' Day.
Nkechi Ohiri has been a widow for 21 years, caring for her 4 children solely. In an emotion-laden voice, she recalls her ordeals, pains, rejection, loneliness, stigmatization formed the background.
All these things I suffered, training my kids, I even went to Bayelsa with ringworm eat all my legs. I really suffered. So out of that suffering, and I came here in Abuja, since nature could not favor me, I came down to Abuja, start pushing wheelbarrow. I pour clothes on wheelbarrow, start pushing federal housing. That's where I pushed till I built the house I'm staying, then train my children, all of them, in university.
Silent as they may seem, a closer look reveals a set of people dying under the weight of unbearable burden.
My husband died in 2010. Sometimes we get off, we not go see anything eat, but one time we go see God go help us.
I'm getting assist with all this program like this. Sometimes somebody will just come from nowhere, help will come from nowhere.
Ignatius Newman is not a widower, but he has something in common with Nkechi Ohiri, the passion to speak for and put smiles on the faces of widows.
My experience and my encounter when my mom passed, she was taking care of some widows, and then when she passed on, one of them came and was crying as if she will enter into the grave together with her. Even we that were bereaved were the ones even trying to hold the woman. And then at the process, I started asking her questions. She now opened up to me. I said to her, no problem, that what my mom was to her, that by the grace of God, I will do that.
This is why Newman, through his NGO, Rock of Ages Foundation, takes special interest in addressing the plights of widows through empowerment for over 10 years. The question is, how can government and other good-spirited individuals complement the effort of such NGOs and CSOs?
And we are hoping that with this awareness and this team, government at all levels deliberately do something to have a policy in place and a punitive action in place to be able to punish those who are always after the rights of widows.
Nothing that we say that let the government enact a law that we protect the right of these women. No matter that, even if they discover that this woman is a widow and the husband is no more there, they should give free education to the children.
We all need to come together to handle the issue of widowhood in Nigeria.
The theme for the 2021 International Widows' Day is Invisible Women, Invisible Problem, apt for raising the consciousness of decision makers to take into cognizance the plights and needs of widows for a better society. Ngozi Silva, Technical, NTA News.
Thank you, Ngozi. The National Youth Service Corps is providing some key services in the rural areas. It is deploying Nigeria's vast reserves of skilled youth manpower to tackle some challenges in the areas of health, water and sanitation. Olayinka Ojo reports that the services ameliorate the shortfall suffered in achieving sufficient percolation of the Sustainable Development Goals.
Since the introduction of the Health Initiative for Rural Dwellers by the NYSC since 2014, more than 2 million rural dwellers across the country have benefited from the initiative. The latest is this community.
This is Damagazan Ugwa Hausawa, a community with more than 10,000 residents who are predominantly farmers who cultivate crops such as yam and cassava, and it is less than 1,000 meters from Garki area.
The NYSC Healthcare Service Initiative is to complement government's efforts of promoting the well-being of rural dwellers by ensuring easier access to free and quality healthcare.
In addition to the treatment of patients, the medical outreaches also feature sensitization of community members on the disease prevention and care.
Damagaza and Gwa Hausawa community has a running battle enforcing hygienic practices in its everyday life. The community does not look as if it is winning this war. As a result, some diseases claim their victims in the area. Some are particularly prevalent.
These areas, because of the way it is and where it's localized, there will be dehydration. Babies will be prone to maybe febrile.
So far, we have a case of venous conjunctivitis, which is more common in kids, and presbyopia, which is for the adults.
Medical outreaches like this are organized in communities by core medical volunteers who carry out diagnosis and treatment, including minor medical procedures and referrals of patients. Musa Usman, a resident of the community, is a teacher at the Universal Basic Education School in Damagaza and a beneficiary of the free health care.
This is my first time to witness health matter in this community, and we are going to take the control measure towards solving the issue.
Ensuring a healthy environment is a collective business. Good health is a catalyst for economic development.
The team leave the community in a better shape than they met it, while many more communities wait for similar visitation. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination says results of the ongoing Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board examination will be released immediately. This, among other disclosures, were made while the Registrar, Professor Ishak Oluyede, while monitoring the conduct of JAM in Enugu State. Mina Ukuabasi reports.
After monitoring the conduct of JAM in the state, the Registrar, Professor Ishak Oluyede, expressed satisfaction at the peaceful conduct of the examination in all centers visited across the country and remarked that the exam ends 3rd July.
Oh, very fine, splendid. We have a total registered candidate of 1,415,501, and out of this number, 1,212,000 had so far written the examination, and at the end of today there will just be 66,000 or thereabouts candidates who will be completing the 2021-2022 UTME examination.
According to him, the 30 centers clamped down are still undergoing investigations.
The results ought to be out today. We are here today, and for me, because I was not at the headquarters, that could explain, and I don't want to approve any results without being in Abuja. As soon as I get to Abuja today, all the exams, the results, up to the one being taken now, will be approved and released.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board JAMB examination has been on since Saturday, 19th of June 2021 and ends 3rd July 2021. In Enugu, Minna Adobe Kobasi, NTA News.
We take another breather at this point, after which we bring you trending health stories, the dangers of drug and substance abuse, and a new dimension to the menace that should be a source of concern to you and I. Stay right there for the full gist after this time out.
The much anticipated UEFA Euro 2021 is finally here. Can Portugal defend the title they won 4 years ago as they face world champions France, Europe giants Germany, Spain, Italy and England? Catch all the action via live transmission, in-depth studio analysis, fixtures, results, updates, and lots more on NTA, Africa's largest TV network. For sponsorship and advert placement, contact Bola on 08037044286 or Idris on 08034633644. This broadcast is proudly brought to you by NTA in partnership with Media Business Solutions, MBS Sports.
And that's all we have on today's edition of the Trophy Live Trivia. But before I go, I just want to say this. Keep your energy up. Don't be so hard on yourself. You dey walk now, guy. You dey also go. You deserve a trophy with your fellow honorables. Anything you do that gives you the kick is worth recognition. Just look at yourself in the mirror and say, wow. Now honorable I be you. And even when we are feeling so stressed up, we can ginger each other up and share some good bottles of Trophy Lager. Because anyhow we be, when honorables gather, we share, we dream, and we win together. My name is still Fowles, aka Fowles the bad guy. Honorable Wagbayi.
Finally, Euro 2020 is here. Enjoy all the matches live on Star Times for only 1,700 Naira monthly or 160 Naira per day. Recharge now to enjoy all the matches. Watch Cristiano Ronaldo of Portugal, Mbappe of France, Lukaku of Belgium, and other top European football stars. No matter where you are, Star Times is here for you. You can enjoy all these matches on your mobile phone. Just download Star Times on app on your phone to watch all the matches for 1,000 Naira monthly or 400 Naira weekly. Recharge today with 1,700 Naira monthly or 160 Naira daily. That's right, you heard me. On Star Times, you can watch all the matches with monthly subscription of 1,700 Naira or daily subscription of 160 Naira. Terms and conditions apply. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Good to have you back. There have been anxiety and uncertainty on what and how this year's rainy season will look like in the northern parts of the country. But for the farmers in Abuja and environs, they are comfortable with the rain pattern. Musa Baba Aliu takes a look at weather pattern based on NIMET predictions and the reality as it affects agricultural production.
Rain is one of nature's gifts, which brings joy not only to farmers, but also to every human being, as it's seen as a blessing. When the rains do not come as expected, it does create some anxiety, not only among farmers, but to the entire populace, as lack of rain affects food production. And this is the situation in most parts of northern states, in spite of the fact that the Nigerian Meteorological Agency had predicted that rainfall in the region will be delayed this year.
In Africa, we live in a tropical climate, so rainfall varies very rapidly over space. And we do know that NIMET looks forward to expanding and densifying its observation network.
With the clouds getting thicker, moving towards the northern states, Professor Bakomatazu says it is an indication that the wet season has already set in.
The rainy season is fully getting established, and some states in the extreme north are also beginning to see this onset characteristics of rains.
The season, according to the prediction, will be accompanied by thunderstorms that could affect visibility, most especially vehicular movements.
And some states in the extreme north are also beginning to see this onset characteristics of rains, which is occasioned with occasional showers associated with lightning, thunderstorm, and high-intensity wind.
Since NIMET has predicted early cessation of the rains, farmers are therefore advised to go for early maturing seeds and at the same time monitor the rain pattern. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliu, NTA News.
The approval of the revisit of the Federal Capital Territory Land Swap Initiative followed a memo in that regard presented to the Federal Executive Council by the FCT Minister, Mohammed Musa Bello. The minister announced a return to the initiative, which is on the basis of amendments to the procedures to conform with the FCT Master Plan and the new legal framework introduced to protect investors and all partners involved in the initiative. Shuaibu Yakubu in this report tells us more.
Deficit has been one of the most disturbing socio-economic problems facing urban centers in Nigeria. One of the ways to solve the problem is to allow the participation of the private sector in joint business venture, as government alone can no longer bear the burden of providing infrastructure. To this end, the FCT administration is adopting land swap as a strategy to overcome these challenges, as the initiative will bridge the infrastructure deficit in the territory by swapping land with private investors who will in turn provide the necessary infrastructure.
What the land swap for infrastructure model seeks to do is to ensure comprehensive development of a district within a period of 10 years, however with an infrastructure component of 48 months. It also will help the administration in resolving the resettlement and compensation issues within the districts.
FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello revealed that the program has been fine-tuned to ensure development in line with the master plan in designated districts and resolve issues of compensation and relocation of people as the city grows.
After a review of what has transpired over the years and also changes made, the Federal Executive Council approved that we now should continue with the land swap initiative.
Land swap is something that has been happening all over the world. So many countries have embarked on the land swap. So for us and as Nigerians, land swap is really a good move.
The land swap program will also create more jobs and employment opportunities for the teeming unemployed productive youth in the country. In Abuja, Shuaibu Yakubu, NTA News.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has supported Nigeria in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic with equipment worth $1 million. The handover of the medical equipment took place at the Saudi Arabian Embassy in Abuja. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health, Abdul Aziz Mashi Abdullahi expressed Nigeria's appreciation to the good people of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the kind gesture. The medical equipment include ventilators, surgical sterile gowns, non-sterile surgical gowns, surgical masks and nitrate gloves. The ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Faisal Ibrahim Al-Ghamdi, disclosed the plans of the Kingdom to organize 12 free medical outreach programs towards combating blindness and heart-related problems across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia had also rendered humanitarian support to displaced persons in the northeast with food basket worth $10 million. Despite the efforts of the government and other relevant authorities to curb drug and substance abuse, the menace remains on the increase. In Benue State, the trend has taken a new dimension as some persons now engage in the cultivation of some of these substances. Sandra Dowese Akeme examines the devastating effects of drug abuse and efforts in curbing the trend.
41-year-old Doris Wando Tehimba had suffered drug abuse for 10 years before she came out of it. She says she ventured into it due to depression.
Now that I've lost my parents, if I keep doing this thing, I was going down gradually, how would my son look like? So I decided to start going to places that I will find good people.
The use of psychoactive substances among adolescents and youth has become a subject of public concern worldwide due to the fact that it contributes potentially to deliberate or undeliberate harm to the abusers, thereby becoming a burden to the society. In recent times, the abuse of alcohol and over-the-counter medications has increased significantly despite the growth in awareness. Experts believe that the use of these illicit drugs poses threats to human lives.
When someone abuses substance, an illicit substance, it tinkers with the way the person thinks.
then it affects the person's behavior, right? In some cases, it might lead to violence.
According to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLA, Benue State hitherto was a transit point for drugs and substances trade, but has now become a destination, which has led to the production of many hectares of farmland, growing cannabis sativa in large or commercial quantities.
You still see farmers who farm Indian hemp, harvest it, dry it, and take it to other states. Drugs like tramadol, rohypnol, Exol, pentazocine.
To Doris, who is now a campaigner against substance abuse, it is a slow killer and must be avoided at all costs. The attention now is on the rehabilitation center in the state, which has necessitated the call on the state government to partner the agency for efficiency.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Now let's talk sports, and we have Badi Adele, who is here to do justice on Sports Update. Badi, it's over to you.
You're very much, of course, Euro 2020, Fatih. Welcome to sports. Let's start with Euro 2020 as Group F, tagged the Group of Death, finally lived up to its billings as the final matches decided this evening were not short of drama. The clash between European champions Portugal and world champions France left many on the edge of their seats. Cristiano Ronaldo and Karim Benzema both scored twice as it ended 2-2, with France finishing as group leaders. In the other game, Germany twice came from behind to grind out a 2-2 draw with Hungary to set up a round of 16 clash with England. France will face Switzerland, with Portugal going up against Belgium in the round of 16. Earlier, Spain hammered Slovakia 5-0 with the help of 2 own goals in Group E as they set up a last 16 clash with Croatia on Monday, while Robert Lewandowski's double could not save Poland as Sweden secured a late 3-2 win to finish as group winners and also qualify for the next round. The round of 16 begins on Saturday, June the 26th. Away from Euro 2020 now, ahead of their scheduled friendly with El Trio of Mexico, Nigeria's Super Eagles have begun preparations for the July 3 meeting. The home-based players, led by Heartland goalkeeper Ikechukwu Ezenwa, had their first training session in Abuja on Wednesday, with coach Genotro challenging the players to seize every opportunity to make the team for the Mexico game to be played in the United States of America. And of course, finally, as the world marks the International Olympic Day, celebrated on 23rd June yearly, the Nigeria Olympians Association is intensifying campaign for the inclusion of sports as a core part of the school curriculum. The association seized the opportunity of this year's commemoration to take the advocacy to Funtaj International School, Abuja.
While talking to them, they were like, they don't really believe in sports so much, you know. So for me, I'm very, very happy that I can actually leave Germany to come to Abuja to talk to the students, to tell them about me, you know, that they can be whatsoever they want to be.
To mentor, you know, the students, to tell them that, for example, it is not a crime to combine sports with academics.
Beautiful there, and of course, it's back to you, Fatih, but I'm sure you're very much glad that Cristiano Ronaldo got 2 goals and his team, you know, qualified for the next round.
Well, I love sports so much, and I also like Ronaldo very, very much. So I'm really excited tonight. Thank you so much, Buddy. So much sports update there. Well, this is where we draw the curtains on today's episode of News Extra. Don't forget to join the NTA to stand against rape and rapists. And that is sure the fastest and the surest way to become minister. I am Fatima Maruba. Enjoy the rest of your night.